Welcome everybody. I really hope you enjoyed watching our video. It's not quite the same as having you here in person. It's quite a rainy day today, so I think in many ways we're pleased we haven't got lots of people, but it's been nice to say hello to a few who've been able to come today, and any of the rest of you, many I know want to visit the school. We will have an opportunity for you to come at various different times, and admissions will send you details. We really do want to welcome you and show you around Headington. But today I've got a fantastic panel of people who are going to help with answer any of your questions. So I'm going to introduce them now. First of all, we've got our head girls. So here we've got Millie, who's our head girl, Alexia, who's our head of day, and we've got Juliet, who is our head of boarding. So they're going to try and help some of our staff answer some of your questions. So the other staff I've got who are going to be joining us today is I've got Mrs. Proctor, who waving now, and she is the head of pastoral. I've got Mr. Hawkes, who's my first deputy, and I've got Dr. Stanton-Ive, who is my academic deputy. And there as well, I've got Miss BB, Diabetes Transport, who is my head of lower school and looks after the girls who are coming into Upper 3. And I know there's an awful lot of you who've joined us today. And we're delighted that one of the things about having remote open days is we actually get a far wider reach. So I'm really pleased we've got Mrs. Ramatala, who's my head of boarding. She's going to help us answer any boarding questions along with Juliet, because it's great being able to have people who've come from all over the world join us today, either live or indeed this is recorded and can be seen later. So I know we've got about 300 people who've signed up for open day, which is absolutely brilliant. And we've got some questions. So I think we're now going to get some questions. So our question master, I need to introduce her, is Mrs. Mullen, who is also our Director of Admissions and Marketing. So if we've got any particular questions about admissions, she is going to answer them. Right, okay, question about the video. So our video is very positive, great. What aspects could the school improve at? Well, actually, that's a really interesting question, because I think in many ways, the best thing about the school is also one of the issues that we have, and that is where we're located. Being in Oxford is absolutely fantastic, and we have some great families who join the school, but also wonderful opportunities to get the girls involved in academic life with both fantastic universities that we have here, and indeed we have them going down to many different lectures or speakers who come to the school. But equally, being in Oxford has its particular challenges about actually being able to get to school, and we have been working closely on them, particularly with the things like the initiation of bus gates, etc., by having our own bus transport routes, and also encouraging the girls to come in as much as they can using public transport or by cycling. So that is an aspect of the challenge we have, and we're also looking at the school day as well, exactly how we run the school day in order to make sure that girls have a really easy time getting here and back again. So thank you very much for that one. Okay, another one. Let's have a look at another one. Great. So STEM and medicine. Well, I think Dr. Stanton-Ive, that's definitely one for you. So do you want to answer that one for us?
Yes, very happy to. As a teacher of an art subject, English, I am absolutely impressed at the way that we really promote STEM. And it's part of our core belief. In the sixth form, for example, we try to incorporate the thinking skills for STEM into our creative and critical thinking programme. We have mathematics as the most popular subject in the sixth form, and our leavers every year go on to do the whole range of STEM subjects, from medicine, dentistry to chemical engineering. There's about 40 plus girls every year going on to do those courses. So it's a real strength of the school, and one that we're very rightly proud in.
Great, brilliant. Okay, and I think this is very much for you as well, the academic scholarship application. So Mr. Horgan, we're not sure whether you're talking about 11, 13 or 16, but I'm sure that Dr. Stanton-Ive will be able to tell you about the process, and of course it is a little bit different depending on the age range, but if you could give a brief outline, that would be fantastic, Dr. Stanton-Ive.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm sure Mrs. Mullen will be able to answer your questions about dates and deadlines for this. So we have 3 entry points for academic scholarships, so 11 plus, 13 plus and 16 plus. And what we're really looking for in that process is for students who are not only academically strong, but ones who really are genuine risk takers. And this will come through very much in the way that we can hold discussions with them and really probe their interests and their ability to think beyond what they've been taught, as well as their appetite for pushing those boundaries backwards, and ones that we feel that would really benefit from our mentoring program, which is a very, very strong aspect of the support that we give to those pupils, which works across the school. So you're not simply seen as an upper three academic scholar. You'll be given a mentor who will be an older girl up to lower five. And then from upper five into the sixth form, those relationships are developed very closely among the students. And then we all come together for a really fabulous event, which is the Academic Scholars Dinner. And that's attended by all of our academic scholars, from the youngest to the oldest, as well as senior member of staff. And there's a great sort of academic challenge that takes place within that dinner. And there's opportunities for getting involved in external speakers and thinking skills programs as well. So it's a very, very busy, enriching and rewarding program.
Lovely, thank you. And I think this would be a great one for Mrs. Ramatala actually to help us with.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday. So we're delighted at Headington to have 5 boarding houses on our site, which have a junior house, 2 middle houses, and then 2 sixth form houses. It's worth pointing out that about a quarter of our school board, some people don't realise that. Our junior house is the smallest house, so it has 30 beds. And so the proportion of year 7 boarders really varies from year to year. At the moment, we have 15, so half the house are year 7 boarders, and that makes about a sixth of the entire year group, so a good proportion. And that changes as the year groups get bigger as you go up through the school, so does the boarding. So it very much mirrors the day community. By the time we get up to the sixth form, we could be talking about a third to a half of the sixth form using our boarding provision. And I think what's unique about boarding at Headington is we try and really work closely with our families to allow you to get the most out of all the opportunities. I mean, there are so many opportunities here at Headington, and we recognise that can be really difficult if you've got a full and busy family schedule. So not only do we offer our full boarding range, so you can stay with us all the time, as well as the popular weekly option, we also offer half-weekly boarding. It allows you to stay Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. And that has proven to be really popular with some of our junior boarders, particularly those who like to experience boarding and have done so at previous schools, but also quite like going home for a part of the week as well.
Great. Okay. And how many people stay on campus during the weekends?
So we have a considerable number of full boarders, and that means that actually at the weekend, we're not one of those schools where the buses turn up at 4 o'clock on a Friday and the campus is very quiet. A really significant proportion of our boarding community are still here at the weekend. I live on site with my family, and it's a busy place to be at the weekends. We have a whole host of activities and opportunities on offer. We have the entire site to use. It's a very large site. You'd be surprised how much space there is here on site. And we put together a programme. I see there's another question about activities. A very varied programme of activities. Obviously, at the moment, we're working within certain COVID restrictions, but that is led by student voice. So where possible, we do listen to our boarders to find out what they would like to do. And actually, if they're the ones staying on campus with us, then, for example, they'd like to have a Mexican night and cook and eat some Mexican food together, then that's something we'll try and offer for them.
Okay, so I think it should be actually Mr. Hawkes who could run through exactly the way we're doing everything. That'd be great.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So details of the school day. So we have a 6-period school day, four academic lessons in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. And the pupils arrive from around 8 o'clock in the morning, and they have to be in school. All of them have to be in school by around 8:25. And our lessons begin just before 9. And the pupils start by coming together as a form group and meeting their form tutor. As I said, we have 4 lessons in the morning. Then we have a lunchtime where there's time for activities to take place. So you have at least an hour at lunchtime to eat and have activities. And then at 4 p.m, lessons end. And a lot of our extracurricular and co-curricular activities happen between 4 and 6 p.m. after school. So on any given day, you can walk around school at 5 o'clock and find lots of girls playing sport, doing dance rehearsals, drama rehearsals, attending academic events, and so on. But on any given day, girls can leave and go home at 4 or back to the boarding houses if they're boarders. So that's the structure of the school day in a nutshell.
Okay,
Shall I
that's a
answer
great
this
one
one
for
as
you as
well?
well, Mr. Hawkes.
Yes. Okay. So instrumental lessons. We have lots of girls take instrumental lessons, singing lessons, instrumental tuition. They happen throughout the school day. Now, pupils the youngest pupils in the school, those in year 7, year 8, year 9, their instrumental lessons will overlap with academic lessons, but never with the whole academic lesson, always with over the end of one lesson and the beginning of the next. And those music lessons change week on week, so they never miss the same academic lesson in a cycle. And as the girls move into GCSE and A-level, their music lessons are timetabled to take place at lunchtime, after school, or in study periods.
Great, brilliant. Okay, so yes, Mr. Mullen, I've seen lots of questions here, and I can imagine that many of our guests today are thinking about exactly how we run the admissions process. So I think it'd be great if you could answer as many of these as you can now. But what I would like to say is please do email or the phone if we haven't been able to actually answer your question specifically about entrance, but we'll have a start now. So Mrs. Mullen.
Yes, thank you, Caroline. There's quite a few questions on the stream about the application process and also how we're going to manage it during, obviously, the pandemic that we're having at the minute. Just to answer this question first, so we have lots and lots of girls that apply for year 7. There's at least 3 girls that apply for every place here, because obviously we also have our prep school that feeds into our year 7. But our intake into year 7 is roughly 96 girls. And the offers are made after the entrance application process, which involves papers in English and maths and an online assessment test as well in English, maths, verbal and non-verbal reasoning. So for year 7, our offers are made before Christmas. So you'll find out in December. If I just pop this one up as well, obviously things are quite fluid at the moment and we're having to make lots of different plans to just try and cater for what may or may not happen over the next few weeks. But at the moment we are planning to have our entrance days. We have moved them to Saturdays. They weren't all on a Saturday previously, but they are now. And we are in discussions with lots of our feeder schools about what we might need to do if the need should arise to test outside of our own school environment. But we will keep parents updated on the plans as we progress towards those entrance days. Let me just have a look for Caroline, who perhaps wants to answer that one while I find the rest.
Yes, absolutely. I think we work really closely with our feeder schools, and we also know that many girls come from primary schools. So we don't like the girls to be hugely prepped for the exams. That's not what it's about. We want to look at their natural ability, which is why we use online testing, non-verbal reasoning and verbal reasoning testing, which is a really good guide for that. And we have many years of experience looking at that and being able to track exactly how those girls have gone on to GCSE and A-level. However, we also do maths and English because we know that everybody's taught maths and English. We will look very carefully with awareness at English papers if girls have come from other countries. We know we have a really, really good EAL department here, and we have, again, lots and lots of data that shows that girls have come in at year 7 or year 9. English skills haven't been particularly good, but we have such a fantastic department here. They do amazingly well at GCSE and go on to university, and it's not a problem at all. So we always look at the background when we look at the marks of how the girls have done. And equally, maths is taught in a different way. You may have different aspects taught in different schools at different times. So we like to have 3 data points along with an interview. Interview is quite a scary word. I don't want you to be scared. It's a chat with probably one of us, just generally asking you about the sort of things you like to do, like to get involved in, and we want to really see that the sort of girls who are going to come to Headington are really going to be able to enjoy, want to get involved in everything we've got going on. So that's why we have 3 different ways of testing them, as well as that interview, and very important, a reference from the school. Okay.
Caroline, shall we ask 2 of our head girls this question, because obviously they sat the year 7 papers, so it might be
actually really nice actually to have the 2 who sat them to try and remember a little bit about coming, because I think it was, there's a little bit of a story there, isn't it, about how it was when you first sat the exam and to when you came, and your memories of year 7 upper 3. So Millie, do you want to go first?
Yes, of course. Hi, I'm Millie. I'm the head girl here at Headington. Like I say, year 7 was quite a while ago, so it's quite hard to think back. But I can remember it being a daunting experience, of course, because I came from a small school. Planning at Headington on the day of my entrance exam was quite scary. But I think you just have to think that everybody's in the same boat. You're not the only one taking the entrance exam. I remember the questions not being too hard. I did an English exam, and I'll tell you this because a piece of advice: don't do the same mistake. I actually answered it. Said you can answer this question or another one, and I answered both. I was quite rushed for time, so I think just take your time, read the question, and don't get too stressed. Don't overthink it, because everyone's in the same position. But yeah, I think just relax. And as Mrs. Jordan said, the interview, it's not a scary experience. It is literally just a one-to-one chat, really open and honest. So yeah, just enjoy it. I think it's a great experience.
Great. Alexia?
Yeah, following on from what Millie said, I think it's really important that you just enjoy the examination day as much as you can. It's a nervous day. I remember walking into the hall and not really knowing anyone, because not many girls from my primary school were applying to Headington. But I think it's really important that you just focus on yourself and don't worry about what everyone else is saying, because people do come out of the exams and will be like, oh, that was really difficult, or I found that really easy. But it just matters about how you found it, and focusing on showing yourself to the school, particularly in your interview. I'd say you should just be yourself, be completely honest, but also be really enthusiastic. I think my interview was actually with Mrs. Jordan, and I actually remember just being really relaxed, and it's just a friendly chat where the teachers can get to know you, see what your passions are, and see how you're going to find being at school.
Brilliant. That's great. Thank you, girls. I think actually, Mrs. Mullen, I can see lots of individual questions about entrance for specific concerns families have. And I'd just like to say to everybody that we do have the capability, I think, of getting back to you, especially if you were to email us some specific questions about families relocating or particular pastoral concerns. We really do want to answer them, but I'm not sure it's right to answer them when we've got 300 people also online. So we will take some of those questions at a different way. But I think, Mrs. Mullen, you've got some more general questions you can put up.
I'm going to maybe put up some boarding and pastoral questions now, actually.
Okay, great, lovely. Okay, so I think we should probably have Juliet and Mrs. Ramatala would be great for this, if we can move them around. There we are. There's Juliet, head of boarding, Juliet has been boarding with us since year 9, but you've been in 3 boarding houses, haven't you? You've been in Davenport, and then you were in the middle school houses, Hillsdale, Napier, wasn't it? And then you were on to Celia Marsh. So you'd be great to be able to answer that if your microphone's working. So should we try it?
Yeah, I think it's working. So going into town kind of differs.
Juliet, if you go a bit closer to the microphone, that might help.
Can you hear me now?
Brilliant.
Okay, so it kind of differs depending on what year group you are. So starting in upper floor in the junior boarding house, we were allowed into Headington, I think, once a week. And your freedom and responsibilities as you go up the school increase. So now up to upper 6, I'm allowed to go between 4 and 6 into Headington and Oxford whenever I want, and I can also take 2 nights out on the weekdays and nights out on the weekends. So I think that's up until 10 p.m. So it does differ depending on the year group, but as you grow older, you do get more freedom and responsibility to go out to town.
Brilliant, that's great. Mrs. Ramatala, anything extra to add and about weekend activities?
Just to say, for our junior boarders, we accompany them into town, and that is worked around an activities programme for them. So at the weekends, there's a lot for them to do. They're very busy, but there is also the opportunity to go into town without a supervisor. So they'll go with a member of staff. Juliet's absolutely right. By the time they get to sixth form, they have the ability to determine much more of their own time. We're to allow them to make that jump between home and university just as people would in their normal households, and so that responsibility. But that said, if as a parent you feel there are certain restrictions you would like placed on your daughter, we're very happy to work with you with that. But at the moment, we're very aware of the sensitivity of some people around leaving site. So yeah, we're very happy to work with you. So during the weekend, we have an activities programme that is established for our boarders. That to meet the needs of the year groups that we have. So at the moment, we're operating in year group bubbles, and therefore what our upper three, our year 7 bubble might be doing. So at the moment, I know that they're going to start making some lasagna. They really wanted to eat some lasagna tonight, so they're cooking together. And that's very different to say what's going on in our level 5 house this weekend, because they wanted to play some sports. So we've got a sports activity for them. So there's an organised programme. And again, the way that we run that is very much based using student voice, but also our expectations will change depending on the year group. We completely recognise that at the moment our upper 6th are very keen on their academic work and also all the wonderful applications to various places that they are going through at the moment.
Okay. Yes, they are. Because obviously the whole school community has access during the school day. And then in the evening, we have our fabulous gym that has gym sessions available. We have our dance academy and dance studios available at weekends. We have all our music practice rooms available to boarders in the evening. So yeah, it's a very busy place in the evening, and the girls are able to have them. What isn't necessarily available, particularly at the moment, is we like to invite our day girls back to the boarding houses in the evening to get to meet the girls and socialise in their boarding house and have tea sometimes together. We're not doing that at the moment, but so the boarders do have their own space, and I think that's quite important. It's their home, but they can invite friends in under normal circumstances. So that's the only thing that is slightly restricted to some of the day girls.
Okay, should I answer this one, Caroline?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really passionately believe that if you are at a school that goes on to year 9, if everything's all equal, you should stay there till the end of year 9. We have a really good intake. At the end of year 8, we have a really good intake into year 9. It's the beginning of our middle school. So we structure it so we have our lower school, which is year 7 and 8, and then a big intake into year 9. We're unusual as a girls' school for that. And so we move all the girls around. We put them into different form groups with their tutors for the next 3 years, for year 9, 10, 11. And we work very, very closely with those prep schools, and those girls get the opportunities to go to the end of their time there. Now, there are some specific family reasons why you might want your daughter to move a year 7. Maybe her brother's moving from that school at the end of year 8 at that time, and you want them all to start together at senior schools. That's absolutely fine as well. But majority of our girls who are at schools that go on to the end of year 8, we would encourage them to stay there. We do have ways to make sure you're aware that you have a space by using pre-tests, and they're done in year 7, so you don't have to worry till the end that you're not going to get a place. Okay, so Mrs. Proctor there. So Mrs. Proctor answer that question from Christine Kay.
Oh, you need to put your mic on.
Sorry about that. I think we have all sorts of different individuals at Headington, and we try and build our programmes to really match the skills and talents of all girls. There is no one type of girl who will thrive at Headington. They will all thrive. And so I think there is so much on offer that it's relatively easy, whether your daughter is a thespian, whether she's a musician, whether she's a keen sportswoman, or whether she's more of a bookworm and enjoys more quieter pastimes. There is something for everyone here. And we will do our level best to try and draw out that from every single child. We work really hard to make sure that the girls settle in quickly. They have all sorts of buddies and mentors set up. Older girls will be making sure that they find their way through the Headington experience, and our tutors and heads of section and heads of year and teaching staff will all be there to make sure that the transition into school, and then as they move through the school from lower school to middle school into sixth form, all of that will be managed really carefully, so that the girls do feel that they're coping, they're managing, and they're really thriving, because that's the most important thing.
Lovely, thank you. I've got a couple of academic questions now. Let's find Anne-Marie. Oh, you need to put your mic on, Anne-Marie.
It's excellent. Yes, I was just about to emphasise our technological skill at Headington and my mind. Computer science department is really integral to our academic offer. So right from year 7, girls start taking computer science lessons and they learn the basics of programming and really thinking about the everyday application of computer science, and they learn about AI. And there is a very, very popular robotics club in the school, where after school girls can get together and really work on advancing their programming skills and really challenging themselves. We've had good take up too with computer science at A level and also with our EPQ, where recently we had a project that was really successfully completed by one of our sixth formers, looking at how computer games can be adapted to computational exercises in everyday life. And we've had also through the lower 6 creative and critical thinking program that I mentioned earlier, one of our lower 6 students really looked at how a common app that you can have on your telephone, how can you get human intelligence to beat artificial intelligence? So it's very much at the core of what we do. And we recently had first artist robot visiting us in the cube in our sixth form, demonstrating that almost the boundary between artificial intelligence and human creativity, how that boundary is now very much weakening. And we had Ada, the robot, showing us how we can use artistic inspiration within an AI context, which is a real eye-opener for everybody. So really, it goes at the heart, cuts right through everything we do, right from year 7 up to the upper 6. And then we've had we had 3 girls last year going off to study computer science at university, and cybersecurity as well is another field that many of our students are looking at. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you, Anne-Marie. Let's just change the focus a bit, because I think this would be great to just talk about drama. And let's find Millie, because Millie's one of our drama scholars as well.
So, Millie, shall I start by talking about drama, and then I'll hand over to you to talk about your experience?
Yes, of course.
What an ambition to be a famous Hollywood actress. Well, you know, we have a fabulous theatre and a fabulous drama department here at Headington. So all the girls will do drama in year 7 and year 8. They can then choose drama from year 9 or for GCSE or for A level. So, of course, the academic side of drama is very strong. But all of our most keen young actresses will always take part in the extracurricular drama. And there's a whole range of opportunities there. Right now, in the theatre, on the other side of school, we've got girls taking part in our weekly theatre academy, which is a fantastic new initiative designed to give girls opportunities to train and perform more frequently. We have huge productions at the end of the autumn term and the summer for the lower school girls, and lots of opportunities for speech and drama lessons, scholars productions, and so on. And if you know anything about Headington, you'll know that we have a number of very famous alumni who have indeed made it as professional actresses. And so there is a track record of success in that area. Do you want to talk about your experiences?
Yes, of course. So as Mr. Hawke said, we have 2 main productions every year, which I've been involved in since year 7. So I think that's one point that just get stuck in from the off. You know, the opportunities are there, so really do just take them. And I encourage you to join speech and drama lessons. I did them up until, I believe, year 11. And then when I had my GCSEs, I just slowed it down with the extracurricular, just so I could focus. But also, as he said, with the drama scholarship, that's another opportunity for you to get involved with more productions. And to answer the question more specifically, I know that this year we had a number of girls apply to the National Youth Theatre, and we were actually quite successful. I think a few girls did get in with the help that our drama teachers provided with the process. So I think that's an example of the support Headington will provide. And that's not just for drama. I know that if you're really keen in sport, or the academic side of things, then the support we have from our teachers is really second to none. But I think my main point is just to get involved with every opportunity, especially in the drama department, because our theatre is really amazing and I really enjoy performing there.
Lovely, thank you. There's a quick one on sport, Simon, if you want to take that one as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the sports scholarship application process is always very popular at 11 plus, 13 plus, and at 16 plus. So first of all, what do you get if you're a sports scholar? Well, you automatically gain a place on our athlete development program, which gives you access to strength and conditioning training. It gives you access to nutritional advice. And we also have, for the scholars, visiting sports professionals and international stars doing motivational sessions as well. So there's a valuable program for the scholars. In terms of the application, sports scholars have to come in for a day's assessment as in a group, and they'll be assessed in a range of different sports. The exact nature of the assessment depends on the entry point, 11 plus, 13 plus, or 16 plus. But in general, at 11 plus and 13 plus, we're looking for all-round athletes. And at 16 plus, while we're looking for that all-round athletic ability, we are able to focus on someone who has a particular track record of success and potential in one key sport.
Would it be worth asking Alexia to talk a little bit about sport from a girl's point of view, Mrs. Bullen?
Here she is.
Right, okay. So what's your experience, Alexia, really about sport at Headington?
Yeah, so I'm a really keen sportswoman. I particularly play hockey and tennis at Headington, but from upper three, I've been involved with almost every sports club I think there is. And I think that's something that's so special about Headington. I had never played netball before I joined Headington, and I was instantly able to join a netball club at lunch and also after school, as well as focusing on netball in your game sessions, for example. And by the end of upper three, I was able to be playing in school matches, which, I could never have believed I would be doing in September. But I think something that's really special about the sport at Headington is the amount of choice we have. You can do sport from trampolining, gymnastics, badminton, up to rowing, hockey, netball, and swimming, just to name a few. My experience with sport at Headington has been really successful. I think one of my highlights was when I was in lower five, we reached the regional finals of the school hockey competition. And then just last year, the upper fifth team also made it to nationals for the first time ever. So we do have a really successful sports teams at Headington. And I think the thing that is also really special with sport is the enthusiasm that the teachers give and their commitment. My hockey coach runs before school practices, which I don't know many other schools in and around Oxford that do this. And we're all out on the AstroTurf at 7:30 practicing our hockey skills. And it's such a great way as well to meet girls in the year below and other year groups and really form like a sport community within the school. So I think if you are enthusiastic about sport or you haven't really tried many sports, definitely getting involved with as many clubs as possible when you arrive at Headington, particularly in the sport, would be fantastic.
Brilliant. I wonder about dance, because dance is a major part of what we do. And I wonder if Juliet would like to get closer to her microphone and tell us a little bit about dance, if that's possible. I know she'd be desperate to talk about dance. She's a dance scholar, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm a big dancer. I'm actually at dance right this second, which is why I'm dressed like this. But yeah, dance is a really big part of Headington, and it's actually one of the main reasons why I chose to come to Headington. So I'm a dance scholar, and I'm also involved in the school's dance company and academy, and then I do ballet and other things. And I really do love all of the opportunities that Dance at Headington has provided me. The studio is literally incredible. It is like the best studio I have ever seen. And there have been so many amazing opportunities that I've been provided with. So I've been able to work with some really great professional choreographers. Right now at the dance company, which is happening right this second, we have a professional choreographer who's working with us, teaching us technique and stuff like that, which is really cool. We've been able to do lots of workshops at dance conservatoires in London, and we've been able to go to national competitions, and it really is, yeah, just an amazing community, the dance community here at Headington. It really is, I think, one of my favourite parts of the school.
Brilliant, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so we can see that's why your microphone. You get that's fine. I think you're probably on your phone, aren't you? trying to do this because you don't want to miss doing any dance. Absolutely great. Okay, so personal development.
Let's switch to Pepper Focus.
To get Mrs. Proctor to talk about this.
Di as well. There we go.
Brilliant. So personal development, we spend a lot of time both with our form tutors, heads of year and heads of section working on this. And I think probably one of the most important elements of it is our PSHE programme, which every pupil experiences each Friday. And that's delivered by a mixture of form tutors or more specialist staff within the school, or we do have a fantastic range of external speakers who come in and talk about things that are of particular interest to them. It's a very comprehensive programme. It's very varied. Yes, it delivers the statutory relationships and sex education content that we have to do, but it incorporates so much more than that, from friendships and developing relationships to online safety, to sort of drugs and alcohol, consent, racism, equality. You know, there is a huge range of different things that are covered there. And I guess the idea, we look at things like how the teenage brain develops. We look at things like resilience, trying to develop sort of self-awareness, developing sort of strong emotional literacy, really trying to get the girls to engage in debate and issues. And also to look at, I guess, being able to establish what's fake news out there as well. So really trying to get those sort of transferable life skills really embedded. And that's a really big part of the whole sort of personal development side of things at Headington. But it's also about, I guess, building awareness, making sure that the girls are able to take healthy risks and don't worry about doing that they are critical thinkers, but they're also curious and creative learners as well. So there's a huge range of different things that are built into that personal development at lots of different levels.
And this is a question, I think, from one of our younger girls joining us. So it's great to have Miss BB, who can talk a lot about what we do in the lower school. You're mute.
We will get a handle on this, unmuting our microphones. I think along with what Mrs. Proctor was saying about PSHE, we also spend time every morning. So both a lead tutor and a co-tutor is working alongside the girls, getting to know their tutees really, really well. So they get to know the activities that they're doing both inside school and outside school, but also from a pastoral development area, knowing what might be happening in their families at the time, that they can just take the girls out and just have a little one-to-one chat with. I think along with this as well, what we're really good at with personal development is doing grade reading. So that is something every time a pupil gets her CPGs, her grades, we basically do one-to-one chat with them. We look at the areas that they really want to focus on so they can have some targets to work towards. And that too may not just be her academics. It may also be clubs and activities, or she wants to get into the specialist dance team, so she wants to really focus on that. So we try our best to make sure it's as well-rounded an education as we can possibly give, and all the time just trying to do our best to get to know the girls, because that's how we know that they will reach their best potential, to know where their strengths lie and where their weaknesses lie, so that we can work on the areas where they need more resilience, but also try our best to build confident people so they can reach their potential and their future beyond Headington.
Say something now, isn't she?
Sorry, I was going to say another thing that's worth thinking about and mentioning as well is obviously through boarding. You know, some of our girls join us at year 7 in the boarding houses, as we've already discussed, but equally, you know, we've got girls boarding all the way through, and the teams of staff in the boarding houses will be really looking to help the girls adapt to living alone, really developing a sort of independence of spirit, and whether that's sort of simple practical tasks like learning how to use the washing machine and working out their laundry arrangements, to sort of organising their time and trying to balance sort of the various different things that they do. There's a huge range of different ways in which personal development is sort of threaded into life at the school, even down to sort of things in the sixth form, like making sure the girls know how to change a plug and can rewire things like that, or equally know how to sort of go through the basics of managing their finances. So there's lots of things that build into this personal development programme.
Great. So I'm very happy to answer that. So in the video, there's a nice section from our chaplain, Rev Hal, who's also one of our biology teachers. And it's really important that we have the centre of our life, the Christian ethos of caring for each other. But amongst that, we have an awareness that we have many girls from different faiths and different cultures and different backgrounds, and also families and girls with no faith. That's fine, but we do need to care about each other, and that's absolutely in what we do. And we're very, very inclusive indeed. And in fact, any girls who follow a different religion, we also make sure that we have an opportunity, like our prayer room is available during various times for Muslim girls to go there if they need to pray at a particular time, particularly during Ramadan. So, and we're also very conscious in the boarding house and making sure they can break their fast. So we really do look after each and every girl, and we make them question the bigger things. If that leads from a basis of religion, that's fantastic. If it doesn't, that's equally fine, and we really, really support them as they just develop as individuals.
I'm just going to pop this one up because I know actually toilets are a big deal for quite a lot of people, so I think it'd be useful to answer this one.
Okay, so I don't know who wants to go first. Ms. Proctor?
Yeah, no problem. We have sort of toilets all around the school, so the girls never have to walk very far to be able to access a toilet. They're all individual cubicles, they're all very private, and you know, there is no issues there really at all. In terms of provision for personal hygiene and puberty, and Mrs. BB may want to say a little bit more particularly about what we do with the younger girls through our PSHE programme, but I think it's also worth sort of bringing in here that our health centre provision and our nurses work really hard to make sure that the girls do feel comfortable alongside sort of the tutors and our teaching staff and our boarding teams as they are developing and as they're going through those sort of changes as they grow up. So there's a lot of specific things that are built in there, and I hope your daughter would feel reassured that there's a lot of support as she comes to the school. But Di may want to say a little bit more about what specifically we do for our younger girls.
With regards to education around puberty, we've got the PSHE program that runs throughout the whole of, it's like a thread that runs throughout all of our year groups. So lower school, what we tackle with regards to puberty, then the middle school build on that, and then the sixth formers as well start to tackle things that are age appropriate. And also I think it's very much bespoke. So Headington has a certain type of pupil, and we make sure that we deliver as much as we can that's encompassing all of those girls and their needs with regards to their puberty. Along also with PSHE, we've got, we would focus on health, hygiene, you know, body hygiene, but also their physical health and their food habits. So these are all encompassing as far as that goes, making sure that we're all on the same page and we're delivering it in the boarding house and also into the day pupils in their PSHE time and also tutor time.
It's also worth saying that the girls are very responsible for realizing that they are very privileged in the way that they do get the support and are supported. And in fact, our sixth form girls are really keen, and they did a big drive last year for period poverty in collecting various sanitary products and making sure that they were distributed to areas in Oxford where period poverty is a reality for some communities here in Oxford. And indeed, we have twinned loos in all our loos. They're little pictures of loos that we twin with in the in other parts of the world which don't have the same fantastic, and our loos are really fantastic, actually. It's so funny. I've never said that before on live, but it's true. If you come to visit, if you're able to come to visit, please do ask to see them. It's important. But on the back of all the doors, there's a picture we've twinned through a charity, and we've raised money to develop, so that other parts of the world will have the same kind of a measure of the hygiene that we take for granted. And our girls don't take things for granted. They are really, really passionate about the fact there are others in the world who don't have as many opportunities as we do.
Lovely. Okay, let's do languages and DT.
Okay, so we're going to go to, I think we'll go to Dr. Stanton-Knife, and we will then go to Mr. Hawkes. So Dr. Stanton-Knife.
Yes, so with our languages offer, we offer a great range of languages. We have a very large and vibrant modern languages department, which includes many native speakers. So in year 7, the girls are exposed to 3 different languages, which they learn on a carousel. So that's French, German, and Spanish. And then they choose to take 2 of those ahead in subsequent years. And then they would normally take 1 through to GCSE. At GCSE, there's also the possibility of picking up Mandarin. And in the 6th form, we have a fabulous electives program where you can choose to do subjects outside of your A-level range. And Italian is on offer there as an elective, as an extra option, not an exam-based course at all. And then we have our classical languages too. So year 7 start with Latin, and you can also take up ancient Greek for GCSE if you would like to do that too. I think that I will now hand over to Mr. Hawkes for the DT.
DT, yes. So design and technology isn't the subject that we currently offer, but we do have provision in that area for the pupils. So those pupils in Key Stage 3 in years 7 to 9, they all take art, and part of the art curriculum are design lessons. So there's lots of 3D skills that come in to the curriculum from that direction. We also have a very strong extracurricular provision that relates to DT. Dr. Stanton and I mentioned the robotics club earlier. We also have a coding club for the younger girls. So lots of those DT skills do come in through extracurricular. But what's really exciting is that you'll have seen on the video our fantastic Hive project, which will be completed for next academic year. That's a real expansion of our creative arts facilities. And with that, we're looking at options for expanding our creative arts faculty. So we have a digital manufacture and digital design suite being built into this new facility. And the aim is to really expand those DT skills in our lower school and middle school curriculum next year. So it's a really exciting time for us in the world of design and technology and innovation and creativity.
Lovely, thank you. Should we answer this one, Carol? I think the answer to this is quite a lot, and I'm just going to put diabetes up as well. But definitely on the admissions side, we see applications for year 7 from 40 plus non-fee paying schools in around the Oxfordshire area. So it's quite significant, our proportion, isn't it, Di? Just need to unmute yourself.
Again, I think we would be close on 30 to 40%. That is in each form. So we do have 50% that are coming from our prep school, but in there, making up the other part are the maintained local schools and surrounding schools. So it's sort of all together then getting close to around the 40%. We do our best when we focus really hard on making the girls have a Headington identity, not, which school did you come from. And we are still early in the year at the moment, and is still our main focus in every one of our current upper 3 forms is to become, to be known as their own little individual form, to care for one another, and to not be focusing on where they've come from. So that's really one thing that we work very hard to make sure everyone feels welcomed and part of the place.
And what we try to do, in a non-COVID world, is go out to visit, don't we, Di? You go out to visit the girls in their primary schools, as long as the heads are happy, and then the girls get to visit, and if we're lucky enough, we get shown around the school, so we get a real sense of their environment, and they've got that link to somebody before they come in. And we also have a very nice New Girls Day. Normally it happens in May. We get to meet each other, so they've already got that link with somebody. And it's interesting, out of our 3 head girls we've got with us today, all of them came from small schools where they didn't know very many people at all when they came in, and that really shows the sort of opportunities you have for going through school.
We also have quite a few bonding activities very early on in the year. So again, non-COVID world, we do go off-site in that first 2 weeks, and each bonding, sort of the whole day is spent outside doing connecting and lots of bonding activities. And the girls at the end of that day often say it's one of their best days of the whole year. And they may at that point still be thinking, oh, I'm not quite comfortable, I don't feel like I have a bond yet. At the end of those sort of first few weeks of bonding activities, they're starting to feel so much more settled. So they are an essential part, and it is normally something that we do every year.
Lovely,
Great.
thank you. There's a question here about the kind of future that we are preparing our girls for.
Well, I think there's a couple of things I'd like to say at this point. That I think we are really, really looking at the sort of future the girls are going into, and we know that we've done some research through our alumni, and indeed looking to see their experiences and what major employers are looking for when they apply, and it is about skills-based. Sometimes they'll go through a skills-based questionnaire and testing, which doesn't actually have any, it's a blind test, so they don't know their gender, which is great for women because there's still issues for women in the world of work, and ethnicity. These are really important things. They may not even know at the first stage about schooling or degree level, but they will look at their skills. And so I think there's sort of 3 things that's really important to us. There's the fact that the girls are creative. They're able to be creative, whether that's not only with physically creative making things, but also maybe the way they write, the way they think, the way they attract a program. We've also looked at critical thinking. That's embedded throughout the school, and there's a critical thinking skills course at the 6th form, even if you're not taking subjects which regularly use those aspects, and working collaboratively. So I think it's 3 C's really: critical thinking, creative, and collaborative working. And we do collaborative working right from the beginning. All of the girls are given school iPads, and they work collaboratively on projects right up from the very first day they're in year 7, right the way through. So I think they're the really 3 things that we need to concentrate on to make sure our girls are ready for the future, which we don't know what it's going to include, what sort of what the environment's going to be, what the jobs are going to be. But if they are creative, work collaboratively, and creatively, they're really going to be able to do very well.
Perfect. Shall we ask our head girls, Caroline, what kind of girl thrives at Headington?
So what kind of girl thrives at Headington? Okay, so get the 3 girls up. I hope Juliet's still there. She wants to go off and dance. Oh, she's still there. Okay, so Millie, do you want to go first? What sort of kind of girl thrives at Headington?
Yeah, of course.
Isn't it?
Well, as Mrs. Proctor said earlier, I don't think there's a particular girl who thrives at Headington. I think all girls will. As we've said, with our extracurricular and all the subjects we offer, whether you're interested in science, art, music, drama, whatever it is, the facilities and opportunities are all equally as good. So I think the support network that's there will provide you to go on to be as successful as you want to be in all departments. I'd say, actually, an example I was going to use earlier, just reading the questions about the drama scholarship one. I actually, in year 7, when I applied, I didn't have the confidence to apply for the scholarship, which I think shows just how good Headington is at making you believe in yourself. Because when I got into the 6th form, that's when I then applied for the scholarship. So I think that shows how, as I went up through the school, I gained that confidence to believe in myself and push myself, which I think is what Headington does in all aspects, in all the subjects. All girls thrive is my answer.
Alexia?
Yeah, I think similar to Millie, but somebody who is comfortable in their own skin and who is going to be enthusiastic and really make the most of their time at Headington, because I think that's so important, that whilst you're at school, you are getting involved, you're taking part in house events, you're signing up for music lessons, you're going to as many clubs as possible, because that's the way you're going to get the most out of your time. And I think in terms of looking at the question before about the future, by doing all of these experiences and growing as a person, you're going to be so comfortable going out into the future and leaving school that Headington is like setting you up so nicely for when you leave the comfortable existence that we have here. Yeah, I'd say somebody who is happy to put their hand up, and also somebody who's happy to get things wrong, because when you join, you're not going to get everything right. You're going to do badly in some tests. You're going to find some subjects hard, and not everything is going to be for you, but so it's okay to get things wrong. And I think that's really important.
Okay, Julia, I'm going to go to you, but Millie, there's a middle bit of the question, and I think that you might be able to answer about encouraging girls to challenge and question and protest, because actually there's some examples of things that you've done, I think, in the lower six we can talk about there. But do you want Juliet first about girls thriving at Headington?
Yeah, so my answer is probably quite similar to the last two, but I think because Headington is such an all-rounded school and really encourages all different types of girls to flourish, I don't think there's one particular mold of person that will be able to thrive and be successful at Headington. I think there's all sorts of girls here, and honestly, all the school really values in terms of like personality and the type of person you are is just that, you know, you try and get involved and just being a kind, spirited person, making sure that like you're looking out for one another and being enthusiastic. But I really do think that the school supports and encourages all types of girls, and really I think everyone would be able to flourish at Headington.
Brilliant, great. Millie, what in your experience last year? I remember something particularly you got involved in.
Yes, of course. Well, I study politics as one of my A-level choices, which I think automatically makes me switched on, you know, with what's going on in the world, current affairs, and we debate regularly. Alexia's in my class as well. We debate regularly in our politics lessons. But last year, I had the opportunity to stand as the Conservative candidate in our mock election we held at school, which was a really great experience, because not only did I, you know, build on my own knowledge of UK politics, I was able to do live debates, which really improved my confidence, and that brought in critical thinking and evaluating arguments, which I also study philosophy, so that really helps towards that as well. But I think also just being at an all-girls school, it does make you more aware of, you know, women's rights, which I think is so important. And within our curriculum, we are always thinking about, as Mr. Jordan said earlier, you know, women in the workplace, and actually the lack of women in high professions, which I think Headington, you know, it actually does highlight, because I think it's so important that we do know that we actually can achieve just as much as other people in society. And I think Headington does embed that from a really young age, to, again, believe in yourself, and protest, again, with Black Lives Matter, Headington has put an emphasis on that. But yeah, just being switched on and aware about what's going on in the world around you is something Headington really does make you engage with.
So I wanted to jump in with another example just from the last week that that Mrs. Jordan and I will remember. We have a really active eco committee at school, and the work of the eco committee is really driven by the pupils. And just a few days ago, Mrs. Jordan and I got an email from a much younger girl, a girl in lower 4 actually, with a very specific question about the plastic cups that we're using in our temporary dining room at the moment. And this is a direct question to the head and the deputy head, and this is about that challenging and questioning part of the question. And it was a really impressive and confident young lady who put those questions to us. You know, and we do actually respond to that and encourage the girls to come forward, and they do drive change in the school through groups like the Eco Committee. And I'm always really impressed by the girls at Headington in that respect.
Lovely, Caroline. I think we're going to go for our final question now. So I'll just put this one up because it seems quite apt with this the collection of people on the screen.
Indeed. Yeah, absolutely. So we really do believe that the girls learn incredibly well by being in a girls' classroom, but it's not at all devoid from opportunities that are run by the school to work with boys' schools. And indeed, through that, there is plenty of interaction. I don't ask my head girls all the time what they're doing with their friends out of school, but I am aware that there is plenty of appropriate interaction with boys out of school as well. But we do things actually as a school. Mr. Hawkes, you want to start, and then maybe the girls can think of an example of things that they've done?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're really lucky in Oxford. There are lots of single-sex schools, girls and boys schools, and we're geographically located very close to a number of boys schools. So we do, obviously, we have the discos in lower schools, so we do that. But as the girls come up through the school, we have lots of more meaningful interactions and links with boys schools. We have shared poetry workshops. We often attend lectures at each other's schools. We go to the MUN conference at local schools. We have shared events all the time. One of my favourites until last year when it was paused is the annual dance day with Year 9, when the entire Magdalen College Year 9 and Headington Year 9 spend a day paired off learning dance moves up at Headington School. We also have shared CCF and Duke of Edinburgh, and we have regular international trips. We have a shared trip to Germany with Abingdon School. The music department has strong links with Radley as well. So we're always looking for meaningful links and interactions between the local boys' schools and the girls at Headington. So absolutely right that the head girls give us a snapshot of their experience and tell us what they've done with local boys' schools. Who would like to go first? Lexi, you able to go first?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, we do a lot of different and a massive range of things with boys' schools. So some that Mr. Hawkes has touched on, the dance day. I think we were the first year to do the dance day, and I do remember it arriving in our activities week and us all being a bit like, oh, I'm not sure we want to do that. Oh, and it actually was a great day, and we had an absolute ball. It was so much fun. At lunch, we were all on the field playing football and interacting, and it was just a really positive day. Other things that I've done is through tennis, I've done mixed doubles matches with Magdalen, which was also really good fun, and another really natural way of building friendships with the boys in the different boys' schools. And also through our CCF, I'm a big member of our CCF, and for the last, I think, 2 summer camps, we've joined with Magdalen and gone off on our activities together. And that was also a brilliant way to just add a bit, to make some friends from a different school. But also it was a fantastic way for us to expand our CCF because we're quite a small CCF, but the boys coming in added a lot of excitement and also just fun. It was a really nice way of making friends. But I just add, having been at a girls' school, it's definitely, I came from a mixed primary school, so it's definitely a lot quieter. But I think that's something I'd say. But I think I gained so much confidence from being at a girls' school, which I don't know if I would have had as much had I not been at Headington. When upper 3, something like this would have absolutely terrified me. I'd have never wanted to speak in front of so many people. But I think from being in this environment and being encouraged to put questions forward and speak for yourself, that's something that we've really gained from being at an all-girls school.
Well, I think Lexi has done loads. Is there anything either that other of you want to add to that? She was a fantastic answer.
I hope this hasn't already been said because I was just kicked out of the stream. But I just maybe wanted to mention a few of the sixth form activities that we do. I think these are limited right now because of COVID, but I know that last year we had a quiz night with Radley and Marlborough in our sixth form centre, and I think there's a virtual one coming up as well. And I think, yes, although these have been limited right now, the sixth form really promotes lots of social activities, both just within the sixth form itself and also with other sixth forms, both with girls and boys' schools across the Oxford and Oxfordshire area. And I think those are, again, a really great opportunity to meet different people and just to get to socialise with new people, not just boys, but just to yeah, get to know lots of new people and kind of improve communications, things like that. So I think those are also really important.
Brilliant, great. Millie, is there anything you want to end with quickly?
Well, I'll just add that I was actually involved in a play, Arabian Nights, at Headington. I think it was maybe 2 years ago, I'll say, that did actually include a boys' school as well. So again, that's another example of Headington interacting with boys' schools. But yeah, as Alexia said, I think being at an all-girls school has made me so much more confident. I couldn't agree with that more.
Great, brilliant. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We've had questions for over an hour now. So I do hope you have enjoyed that. There are some individual ones. Please do email them in if we're not able to get them back to you, but you really want to have them answered. Please just send them on an email and we'll definitely come back to you with them. As I said, we really hope to welcome you in person over maybe the next few months. We've got some twilight tours we're able to do. We really hope we're going to be opening up a lot more in the spring. And of course, we will have additional open days, which we will be real and live for the rest of the year. But thank you so much for everybody for joining us today. And it's been lovely to see so much interaction. We do hope we've been able to answer your questions properly.